One. And scene. Welcome, kids. Thank you for tuning back into another episode of your Strange Friends YouTube show, Malan DTV, or whatever we're calling it these days. It is Thursday, April 25th, 8:29 p.m. PST time zone, and I am currently wearing sunglasses inside in a dark room with a suit jacket. Yes, I am aware. I wanted to turn on the camera tonight and speak to you guys. It's a little late for coffee. I could have brought a water and done a water cheers, a LaCroix cheers. We could just do a hand cheers. How about that? Hand cheers! You better believe it. What a day, what a day, what a day. Today I actually managed to get out a blog post for the first time in a little bit. And I thought, why not cap this day with getting a little more done and go ahead and do a YouTube video for the kids, for the people of the world. And so I did. And what I wanted to talk to you about is I've been very busy lately. Some of you may have noticed I haven't posted as often as I was for a while, and I have very good reason. I have been trying to put all of my creative efforts into making music because for years I spent most of my creative energy that could have gone to music into writing blog posts, updating Twitter, and making YouTube videos. And while that was all fun and, we built a pretty cool family here, I didn't release any music for a long time. And for me, that makes my heart die and turn black. Whether anyone listens to it or not, or anyone buys it or not, it's something I have to do to get the stuff out of me. So I've been very busy doing that. I haven't had the same kind of YouTube time as I did before. But it's for a good reason. And when this is done, I will put my creative energy into something else. Probably another record. I have several different projects happening right now. I'm happier than ever. That's the key. And I hope you're doing well as well. We figure these things out one day, hour, minute, second at a time. And every year, hopefully things get a little bit better. And if they get a little worse, you kind of turn the ship around and fix the things that are broken. And it's very simple for me to be, happy is a strong word, but to feel like my life has meaning. I could make $1 trillion. I could be married to 36 of the most beautiful women on earth, and you could give me my own private island, and I would still wake up in the morning and go, I should be making music. I can't be here. I've got to go. That's just me. And over the years, that's one of the great things about aging and getting older. I'm older than some of you guys. One of the best parts of aging and getting older, there are a lot of great things, but one of the best things is that you start to really figure out who you are. Some of us figure it out as kids. Like when I look at someone like Bob Dylan, he figured out who he was and how to write that music and how to do that Bob Dylan thing when he was a kid, 18, 19, 20, 21. He wrote all those history-making songs that are timeless and have lived on forever. And I read an interview with him, and they interviewed a much, much older Bob Dylan, and they asked him about those early songs, and they said, how did you write those songs? He said, I don't know. I don't remember. I said, what do you mean? He said, I don't remember writing them. I don't know how I did it. They said, do you think you could do it again? And he said, and I'm paraphrasing, I might be wrong, but to me, what I remember, he said, no, I couldn't do it again. I said, what do you mean? He said, because what that was a moment in time where the songs were basically delivered to him. He didn't have to try. He doesn't remember writing the words. He doesn't remember much of it at all. It's been 60 years, 50 years. And he said he couldn't do it again. And he's lived his entire career mostly off of the success of those early songs. And when I read that, I've always been envious of people who had it figured out early. Jim Morrison from The Doors, knew exactly what he wanted to do, and he did it all and was done by the age of 27. Hendrix, same thing. Kurt Cobain, same thing. A lot of people had it figured out at a very, very young age, did it all, and some of them died in their 20s and accomplished more than most people would in 20 lifetimes. But here's the thing. Here's a blessing that age has given me, the understanding that some people bloom early and others bloom late. So just because we may have not had our moment, the moment that we feel like we are supposed to have, for me that doesn't mean world's famous rock star of the universe. It means making one album that is timeless, that is classic, and that if I died the next day, I would be okay. I'd go, I did it. I did the album. I haven't done that yet. And I'm much older than Bob Dylan was when he wrote his masterpieces. But understanding that some of us blossom or bloom early, and then some of us blossom or bloom late. Like what I'm noticing is, I never would have thought this. Everyone would have thought, everyone told me, we all figured it, that our best work was going to happen in our teens to about our mid-20s for music. That's really the age range where you are led to believe if you haven't made it or whatever by 27, you're done. It's too late, you'll never do it. And that's somewhat true. You will not be the next Britney Spears if you're a 43-year-old person. Pop music is not going to work for you. Maybe. There are cases. In fact, the guy from LMFAO, the club dance whatever band, I believe he was 45 or 43 when they blew up. There are those rare cases, but for the majority, pop music dies around 30. That's fine, because pop music sucks. The thing that I've learned is that real music has never had an age limit. No one ever has given a damn whether you're 25 or 45, especially in the genres of the music that I'm into now. The blues, country, classic rock, folk music, indie folk, psychedelic music. Some of the greatest folk artists of all time wrote their best songs when they were older men. Not all of them, but some of them, a lot of them. A lot of country singers. Actually in death metal, like super heavy metal, you see a lot of older gentlemen holding guitars and wearing spikes and pentagrams tattooed on their face. And there really is no age limit for music. You can play pop music until you're 65 if you want. I mean, you might have a breakthrough success with the over 65 crowd doing auto-tuned Taylor Swift / Ariana Grande music. And if that's what you want to do, I feel sorry for you. But hey, do your thing. We're all weird in our own way. We are all weird in our own way. And I'm weird in my own way. And so one of the things that has kept me busy lately is the fact that I am writing, singing, playing, arranging, orchestrating, mixing, recording, producing, mastering, everything myself. Against most people's wishes. Everyone that I know says you need to go into a real studio and let some Grammy Award-winning producer work on your album. And I looked into that. And I might do that someday. It'll probably cost somewhere between $10,000 and $30,000. The question is it worth it? And that's the experiment that I'm running right now. Can I make an album that sounds good enough for me to feel like I didn't need to go spend 15 grand or 25 grand to do this album? That's what people spend to do a pretty good album. That's on the very, very low end. And that's in the computer age. Previously, it would cost $250,000 to record an album. Bands spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on albums. And these days, what I've figured out is the music I love is indie weird folk stuff from the 60s, 50s, 60s, and 70s. I'm not even listening to any modern music other than maybe Beck, because he is the greatest. especially his album Morning Phase. If you have never heard Morning Phase by Beck, get yourself a set of headphones, buy the album, listen to it all the way through. If you're inclined to smoke pot, do that beforehand. Either way, though, beautiful album, and he's amazing, and he's just about to come out with a new album. Anyway, I digress. The experiment is, can I record my own album? And so far, it's looking like I can, because I'm not comparing myself to Beck's Morning Phase, which could possibly be, not only is it a major label quality album, it's possibly the best produced album sonically of all time that I've ever heard. And so for me to use that as a reference for what I'm doing would be really a bad idea, because it's not attainable. But what is attainable is the music that I'm listening to. The tracks that I'm using to reference this album, and by reference I mean you just A-B it. Am I close to what this was doing? Am I close? Are the levels close? Does the guitar sound right? You pick a song or something that you like, and you kind of cross-compare how you're doing. And for me, what I'm using is old 60s recordings, like records, like big square record albums, those days, and 8 tracks, those recordings. Because they're to me, they're the best recordings of all time. To me, the actual best recordings of all time were done with little tape recorders in the Delta, Mississippi, in those areas, recording people door to door on their porch. These label guys went into those areas with a handheld tape recorder or whatever they had at the time, and just recorded them playing on their porch, put it on a record, and put it out. And it's some of the most beautiful music I ever heard. So I don't want to hear anyone ever say that you can't record your own music because it might not sound as sonic quality-wise as good as Taylor Swift, because maybe you don't want to be Taylor Swift. Maybe you want to be Nick Drake. Maybe you want to be Simon and Garfunkel. Maybe you want to be Leonard Cohen. Maybe you want to sound like Bob Dylan. Play one of their albums. These albums are ranked among the greatest music of all time. And sonically, people may say, that sounds terrible. What are you talking about? It's beautiful. Well, it's got a hiss on it. That's my favorite part. As a matter of fact, I listen for the hiss. When I hear an album with hiss on it, there's a guy, fantastic artist from LA. He's on tour right now. He signed a deal with Sufjan Stevens' label, and his name is Angelo De Agostine. And I was going to see another band, and I checked out the website to see who was opening. Though the headliner band sounded okay. There was whatever. But when I pressed play on his song that they had listed to showcase what he was doing, there was this hiss. And I immediately was drawn in, like, what is this? Oh my God, this is going to be interesting, because to me that hiss represents someone who's working outside of the major music factory, the business that has destroyed music in many, many, many cases. I love music, but the music business is horrific. It's turned into a pop machine. It always has been a pop machine. So when I hear a hiss on an album, I get interested, and it turned out that he did record the album on his own at his mom's house using a reel-to-reel tape recorder that she actually had from the 70s or 80s. And he recorded the album in his own bathroom. And it sounds incredible. It's an album. He's got a couple of early albums that I prefer. He just put out his first major album in a major studio. And to be honest, there are some beautiful gems on there. But they've also kind of crushed this beautiful little homemade sound that he had. Is gone. Some will say they like it better. I will say I'd prefer the home recordings. And there's another reason I prefer home recordings, especially for myself, and that is comfort level. I'm an anxiety-ridden person when I'm around people I don't know. And going into a studio with a producer and an engineer and a bunch of musicians I don't know that are, there to just do studio work, I don't know that. I've done 10 songs now, and when I listen to them, I think there is no way that I could have done these if people were here. There's just no way. For a guy like me, I need to be alone, maybe like you too, a guy, a girl, or anything in between. We love all here. But you may understand, when you get around people, it kind of changes. It's like when you pick up the phone, your voice changes a little bit. When I'm around people, I kind of change a little bit. And if I'm making music around other people, the music changes a little bit. It gets worse. Spoiler alert, it gets worse. So for me, the comfort level of being alone and doing it myself has allowed me to go into areas I didn't even know I could do. It's been fantastic. I'm not sure if you guys have heard. If you haven't heard Rain Clouds, you should check it out because that's a great indicator of what this all sounds like and where this is going. I'll put it in the description or in a comment or something. You should go check it out and listen to it, see what I'm talking about. That's the style I'm going for, and the surprise of this whole project has been the strings. Like I decided to try to put a cello on one song, and I just started writing orchestrations, and now all of the songs are orchestrated. Not the best in the whole wide world ever, but they're pretty damn good, and I love listening to them. And that never would have happened if I was in a studio paying hundreds of dollars an hour with someone going, hey guys, we got 30 minutes left. What else do you want to do? I go, well, I want to learn to do this cello. Well, no, Malan, we can't do that. You can do it next time. Your $2,000 for today is spent and gone. That would be kind of hard. I'm not saying no one should ever go into a major studio. Absolutely not. The dream would be, and the reality would be, if you were an actual touring artist, you wouldn't have time to do what I'm doing. You would need someone that you could trust, that you could be yourself in front of, so that you could do the best work possible and then leave and trust them to know how to do it in a way that, won't suck. And that's kind of how it is. I mean, comfort level is everything. It's like in relationships. What do you look for? I look for someone I'm comfortable with. I honestly don't care if you're 5'2" or 12 feet 3 or whatever. I just want to be comfortable. I want you to accept me for who I am. I want to accept you for who you are. And the problem is, it's rarely ever the case. Usually it's two people kind of faking each other out, trying to change each other into something that they're not. The key is to be comfortable. I think if two people can be comfortable together, it would last forever. It's when that discomfort starts to set in and you're sick of playing the game and pretending this and whatever. Then you start eyeballing other people like, well, she looks like she might get me a little better. Or, hey, he looks like he might understand where I'm coming from. Then you're screwed. Anyway, that was a nice little rant. All just to say, I've been busy making music, and I'm doing it myself because as a creative weirdo, I kind of need to hide out in my own little dojo here and kung fu chop the hell out of this music that I'm working on. I can't wait to share it with you. It's really the main thing that I care about in life. And I'm not going to say I lost my way for a while, but I definitely took a different route. Worked out really well. Brought you here. Saved my life. Fixed my financial problems. Allows me to make music and do videos in my home and not have to worry about getting fired from a corporate gig or, whatever. It's a blessing. But boy, I'm glad the blessing has taken this left turn. And I'm glad you're here. And I'm glad I'm here. I've been meaning to do this for a few days, and I finally sat down and did it. So I hope you enjoy it. You guys have been asking for a talk video, and you just got one. We're at 18 minutes and 55 seconds of me talking. So I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you're having a fantastic night or day or week or month or year or life. And if your life sucks right now, that's okay. Some of us bloom early and some of us bloom late. So if things aren't going your way, maybe you're like me. Things will work out later. The trick is, don't blow your brains out before you get there. God, I wish I could bring back a few people that I lost. I really wish I could bring them back and just go, see? You just needed another 15 years or 10 years. You didn't even get to see the internet. You don't even know about that. We have recording studios at home now. It would be incredible. But you can't bring people back. All we can do is live our lives to the fullest, treat each other with kindness, and find people that we're comfortable around, and hopefully create some art while we're here for this very short time on this planet. Remember, and this is good news, you're going to die someday. And when you die, all of your anxieties and worries and panics and problems aren't going to matter. They're not even going to be remembered. No, hardly anyone will remember it. Even the most Steve Jobs will be forgotten in 100 years. No one will even remember who he was. Kids now barely know who Led Zeppelin is. They don't remember. They don't know these things. So if those kind of names can be forgotten, our kind of names can be forgotten. So the trick is, I'm setting you free. I'm not cursing you to a life of being unknown. I'm telling you it doesn't matter. I'm telling myself it doesn't matter as well. No one's paying attention. No one cares about you quite as much as you do. Well, let me rephrase that. No one worries about what you're doing or how you're being perceived as much as you are. No one is that worried. They're all wrapped up in their own thing. That's a fantastic thing someone taught me about LA and the gym. I said, well, when I go to the gym, I'm intimidated. There's all these really muscled up, huge, good-looking people. There's actresses, actors, guitar players, people I listen to. And I just feel like a dummy, when I was starting in the gym. And my trainer, this fantastic guy named George, he probably doesn't even remember this. He told me so many cool things over the years. He said, hey, man, here's the secret. No one's paying attention to you. So do whatever the hell you want. And I said, well, that's an insult. He goes, no, it's not an insult. I'm telling you, everyone in that gym is so wrapped up in their own shit, meaning the same stuff you're going through. They're wrapped up in their head thinking everyone's looking at them. No one's paying attention. In fact, one day I was deadlifting and did not take a breath at the bottom of the lift, which I was supposed to, and I was doing way too many reps with way too much weight. And I held my breath, lifted the weight, and passed out. I saw like red flash and just fell on the ground, dropped the bar, everything. Laid down. I was on the ground for probably 5 full minutes and not a single person stopped or looked or even noticed. I could have been dead. No one's paying attention. So do whatever the hell you want. And if it screws up, so what? Try again. And if nothing works, just wait. Maybe you're like me. You were a knucklehead when you were younger, or you are a knucklehead now and you're younger. But my God, if I could give you the blessing of making it a little further in life, you just might find out what I'm talking about. So stick around. Feel free. Do whatever the hell you want. Just don't cause harm to anyone. Don't break any laws. You can break the rules. You can bend the hell out of the rules, but don't break the laws. Because you don't want to end up in a cage. Those are hard to get out of once they get you in there. Be yourself. Find someone that makes you comfortable. You guys make me comfortable. Doing this makes me comfortable. And I'm glad I did it. We're at 23 and a half minutes, and I think that's about enough of me. I hope whoever's listening to this, whether it's morning, noon, or night, I hope my voice is nice and soothing, and that maybe I said something that helps. Because that's what it's all about. You and I and them, all of us, doing what we can to help. That's all. Have a great night. Thank you for tuning in. I'll be back soon. I will have music for you soon. I have blog posts coming. Actually, one came out today called Saving Creativity. Go to malandarras.com, check it out. Otherwise, fun links in the description, all that stuff. Have a beautiful night. Thanks for watching. And I will see you in the future.